Be like Charlie Murphy.
Feels like Charlie Murphy.
You look like Charlie Murphy.
Your face is Charlie Murphy. All right.
Pretty much.
I'd like his paychecks. What do you think his residuals are from Chappelle's show at this point? He's still got to be making money on that, right? Man, okay, so by the way, I did discover.
Oh, his family is, because he died a little while ago.
Yeah, no, I know, but like I have a summer intern here at the station, and she was just completely unaware of Chappelle's show. Not that she hadn't seen
Oh my God.
Just unaware.
Are we that old now? We're that old.
Bro, that's it. And so like, yeah, because her dad's my age, right? It's like,
Oh, that hurts my head.
I don't want to think about it, but we will think about the card at Del Mar tomorrow. This is SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour Podcast Network. His name is Barry Spears. I'm Lou Rebo. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're here each and every Friday getting you ready for the action there in Southern California. I'm here in the studios of ESPN 680 and 105.7, the ESPN affiliate, on the radio side of things here in Louisville, where you can hear my horse racing segment each and every Friday. Barry was on last week. Of all things, our friend Mackenzie Pfeiffer was on this week. We went through the card there, or parts of it at least, at Colonial ahead of the Arlington Million. That was our episode yesterday as well. On the Horse Racing Happy Hour, we'll take you through the card at Del Mar tomorrow, including the Grade 1 Hirsch. Question before we get going, young Barry, how are you? Number one.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Second is the Cal Dreamin' being race 5 instead of being part of the late sequence. Do we like that? Do we like having one stake in each part of the card? I guess I should get over it, huh?
Ideally, I think it should have been part of the late pick 5.
Thank you.
Because it is an interesting race.
Yes,
in and of itself. But
this double with that race and the Hirsch as a double would have been a fun double, frankly. Right? That actually would have been a fun double. And frankly, if you made it the $5 double, could have been really interesting. But anyways, all right, we roll on.
Well, that's
anyway.
what I mean. I don't understand why tracks really don't do that sort of impromptu kind of thing and just create a bet real quick and throw it in there and see what happens. But
yeah, no, this would have been a very fun late double, frankly, between the two. But 11 race card, there at Del Mar tomorrow. As I said, the Grade 1 Hirsch tomorrow. The California Dreamin' is a Calbred Stakes. Race 5 on the turf. We'll get to that one in just a minute. But if you are wagering in Southern California, we always encourage you to check out our friends at Amwager and Amwager.com, where they have a $50 deposit match right now for new customers. You put in $50, they put in $50, and you are good to go for a fun Saturday there at Del Mar. And hopefully make a little money. Keep it going on Sunday as well. But Barry, let's go ahead and get to it. Anything fun with you this week? We haven't talked about, man, is, Southern California sort of headline is the retirement of journalism after the San Diego Handicap. Not one that you and I had on our bingo card. We were hoping that might have been the kind of comeback performance where it gets a little bit of confidence. Maybe they try them in the Pacific Classic, make the way to Keeneland for the Breeders' Cup Classic to follow up on what was an excellent fourth place finish in the Breeders' Cup Classic last year behind that trio of older horses. But obviously the issue in the gate, they're telling us at least, was enough of an injury to get him out of there. But man, this was a stakes winner at 2, 3, and 4. There's no questioning, that this is, one of those that's going to head off to the breeding shed. And frankly, if you had a mare, is there a reason not to send to journalism? He did. He ran every race as a 3-year-old, showed up in all of them. Really cool horse and hopefully onto a very, very productive stud career.
Yeah, I think the durability is really where his strength is. I mean, like you said, he danced all the dances, went all of them, east to west. And was very durable up until recently. And even the injury he has, he could have probably come back from. But, they decided to go other direction because of the money and things like that. And I'm interested to see. Yeah, I'm interested to see if those babies are going to be quick or, just need some time, things like that. But I would have no qualm sending a horse
out there with their first set of, the first crop side, the first crop and all those things, and see where those journalisms do end up landing. But a couple of years before that, but shout out to him. I did have a little bit, Barry, of should I have voted for journalism as horse of the year last year? Regret. Just because I think there's a world in which he was the most important 3-year-old last year, not the Derby winner. Because if he doesn't go to the Preakness and win that race and then show back up in the Belmont and create that, that rematch essentially between those two, and we get the Baeza third place again, and then he shows up in the Haskell, man. Like, he doesn't take time off. He doesn't take a bunch of time off and go back to Saratoga or go back or whatever. I mean, he goes out to the Haskell, runs another one of those ridiculous races. So I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but hey, shout out to journalism. Hopefully enjoys a retirement. At some point today, we will have Barry's boring play of the day. Make sure you are tuned in for that. And there are several Louis Jeff Mullins plays of the day. So make sure that you are sticking around for those. Barry, do me a favor and check your microphone. I think yours just cut out on me. I want to make sure that you're there. Nope, can't hear you at all. All right, so go ahead and do some reconnecting, my friend, whatever you got to do to get in there. But we will head out to race 1 there at Del Mar tomorrow on Saturday. This is SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Barry Spears and Louis Rabeau hanging out with you on this one. State Bred Maiden Special Weight will open the card tomorrow. We're on the turf, Barry, going 5 furlongs, $80,000 in the kitty for this one. If I cannot hear you, I'm going to point right here. And you're going to log out of here, and then you're going to come back in, and I'll give my thoughts on race 1, and then we'll get your thoughts. Who wins race 1, Barry?
The 6 horse. Can't hear me.
All right, so Barry's going to rejoin us in just a second. I'll give my thoughts here on race 1 at Del Mar tomorrow. I went to the 7 on top here in Sissy Girl. Going to break from the 7. Second timer here for Paul Aguirre. Who's got a small operation, obviously hasn't even run a horse at Del Mar just yet, but this one's been working on the synthetic there at Santa Anita Park, making a second start after a very, very successful first run at Santa Anita Park last time. Now, if this horse breaks a little bit better, I think we'll be sitting in really, really good shape for this one later on in the race. Did a bunch of good passing of horses in a big field of 11. First time out. That was at the state bred 50 level. Does have to move into the state bred maiden special weight level, but I love that first time experience. That was an incredibly fast race. 22, 41, 45 and 1, 57 flat, and 109 and 2. I think we're going to get really similar sorts of splits in this race. And so I'm interested to see if that horse can't get there by the time that the race is up. This is a daughter of Smiling Tiger, so we do not think of them as speedy. I think she'll have to be closer to the pace here. But Barry, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put the 7 on top here in race 1. I know also made your handicapping. You went to the 6 here in race 1 in Maggles McGee. Look at you. Barry's boring play of the day. Race 1.
Yeah. I went to the chalk. I thought the 2 horse was a little bit, I think, dressed up because of the last race. And I think that horse is going to attract a lot of attention. Sacred Sound, the 2. Because of Juan Hernandez staying and the speed that this horse possesses. But there seems to be some other speed in here. And I think Maggles McGee is set to get a really good trip. Should stalk and pounce kind of on the cutback because they were going a mile before. And just getting back to 5, I think, is the proper distance for this horse. You can see those sprint races were way better. And probably should get a good trip, gets Rispoli, top rider. I think they're going to be poised to win this race and kick off the card with chalk.
George Papapadromou there has this one cutting back in distance, which he has done. Big sample size, 14%. So obviously something he does very, very well. You went to the 3 horse second here, Balaza, 3rd career start. Did look good in November last year at Del Mar, but we haven't seen the horse since then. Is this Barry's Jeff Mullins play of the day? I'm just kidding. No, what do you like about Balaza?
There's some things to like. I mean, that race last year at Del Mar wasn't that bad. The second race, and you know, it's really tough in these filly state bred maiden ranks, especially with the buyer speed figures. They can just jump up and run a really good race. You know, if there's some good horses in there and it comes back a little bit live. I'm not sure that race fits that bill, but you got to respect the fact that Barrios stays and he hooks up with Mullins quite a bit. And this horse is poised to get a better trip. I think they're going to be a little bit more forward, gets a little bit of a makeover package with the Lasix, and I think that might tip them over the top and get them in contention here.
This is one that works better on the synthetic than on the dirt. So if you're looking at those dirt numbers, they're going to be a little bit slower than on the synthetic. It's obvious that this horse wants to be on the turf, and I think the breeding says everything we need to know about that with the Sir Prancelot on the sire side. So 6, 3, and 7 for Barry. I did have the 7 on top there. 7, 5, and 6 for me. Platinum Groove's a first-timer for Jeff Mullins. Yeah, it's Jeff Mullins. Yeah, it's Jeff Mullins.
There it is.
But yes, the 5 horse in here. Antonio Fresu gets the mount, and just everything about this horse, I think, kind of makes sense as far as trying this one. Jeff Mullins, 13% with first time on the turfers is a stat that I'm really looking at. But turf sprints, man, he wins at 19%. And in California, that is a big part of the condition book there. So getting to win at that kind of rate. And frankly, I think we're going to get every bit of 8-1 on this horse. I think she's a very, very unknown in this spot. I think that she makes sense, though, for lots and lots of reasons. Antonio Frezu's seen that those win numbers, tick up after last weekend at Del Mar as well. So his percentage has gotten over 10% for the meet. So I'll go ahead and try the 5 in the second spot here. Went to the 6 finally with Maggles Miyagi. I'll agree with you on 2 of the top 3. I'll go 7, 5, and 6 in race 1. Barry 6, 3, and 7. They're at Del Mar tomorrow. This is SoCal Saturdays, the Horse Racing Happy Hour Podcast Network. We are walking through the card tomorrow there at Del Mar, including race 2, a $10,000 claimer, 10-9. You get a little bit of a weight allowance if you are willing to be in for a $9,000 tag. I don't think anybody took advantage of that. I'll put it that way. So
nope.
No one's doing that. No one cheating in this race, Barry. You understand that's not what they're doing here. No dropping 2 pounds to win a race here. Now $30,000 on the line. We're going 5.5 on the dirt, Barry. Even number race means I go first. I went to the 5 horse here, and I'm sure Ms. Club Cali is going to get it done for me for the Andy Mathis barn. First time in the barn for this one, which he does at 13%. Tiago Pereira keeps them out from the last 2 races. This is an every other type, Barry, and this is the every. And so a win 2 back, a win 4 back, both of those in the claiming ranks, of course, $10,000 at the non-3 level, and then in for 12.5 wins at Santa Anita. Has won at Del Mar before. I think this is just a horse that we see it kind of a consistent effort from, even in those losses, was 2nd and 3rd. So it's not as though this horse is ever really out of it. I know you have this one in your handicapping as well later on, but I'll put Ms. Club Cali on top in this group. My second horse, though, Barry, is the 2 horse in Oveda's Hobby. You have that horse on top, so I'll let you talk about Oveda's Hobby.
Yeah, my thing with Ms. Club Cali, I just didn't think she was fast enough, consistently enough. And I think Oveda's Hobby kind of fits that bill. If you get around this horse's turf efforts, the dirt races aren't really that bad, and they were at a better level than they're running on Saturday. So, even if you go, let's say, to the March 14th race, that was a 50,000 non-winners of 1, and that was a pretty tough group. Scary Fast Ride is a decent horse. No Cap and Our Moonlight, those are pretty decent horses and would easily beat this field. They came out of that, got claimed in a $25,000 claimer, and they figured out that this horse isn't that of that class level. Then they dropped to 20, almost win. This is the perfect level for this horse, especially at Del Mar, where you're going to get tougher races. At this level, but this is kind of the group they've been facing a lot. And I think they might have a little bit of an advantage, especially on the drop. They might be closer to the pace, which would give them the get first run. And I think that might make all the difference in getting this one into the winner's circle.
The good thing here, too, that Morphine Payeras connection, man, they win all the time. And what do they do? They win in claiming races. They win in sprints. I think that this is the kind of race that if they're going to win one on the Del Mar card, this one makes total sense. 2, 9, and 5 for you here, Barry. The 9 horse in this race is La Scaloneta. This is Ricky Gonzalez and Mark Glatt teaming up. This one won last time out, won 2 back at the 25 level. That was on turf. Last time was on dirt. We're going to be sprinting here. Any concern about the cutback in distance?
No, because there is. I think this horse is a bit talented, and it's like they don't really know what to do with this horse. I mean, he runs well, or she runs well on the turf at times, and then not. They tried the dirt last time, and it kind of woke this horse up, and I think that might be a little spark. Although I don't really think, because of the post position, this horse is going to win, but I think they can show up in the picture at a decent price.
I'm trying to remember, was this Nacho Correas' last runner?
It might have been
last summer. Man, one of the very last, I think, to leave this barn was Las Caladas.
Yeah.
But anyways, for sure. It's crazy to see this name here. It just occurred to me, actually. So the 7 ended up 3rd in my handicapping here at Pop Rocks. Shout out to you met her in Maryland, a friend of mine I see every year at the Preakness. My friend Colleen, her mom's name is Roxanne, and literally not Roxanne, ROX space ANNE. That's my lady. I love that woman. Nice. So Pop Rocks, very personal for me. Jose D'Angelo has had more runners this year at Del Mar, has a number on this card. Gets Emisile Jaramillo. Of course, they know each other from their time at Gulfstream Park together. And I think this one just live here, if we draw a line through the effort at Churchill Downs before that, was running at this kind of level at Gulfstream Park, was very effective doing it. So I think getting back into this kind of company makes a ton of sense. Real questions, though, about just, the couple of runs this year, having to travel across the country, that sort of thing. But this one's been working at Colonial. They're shipping out for this race. So if you think it's just putting the sale sign on this one, it might be. But she, I think, is talented and can get a piece of it here as well. Move on to race 3 there on the card tomorrow at Del Mar with Barry Spears. My name's Louis Rabeau, and this is SoCal Saturdays. We're talking the entire card there at Del Mar, all 11 races. Maiden special in weight race 3, $80,000 on the line. We are on the turf, and this is for 2-year-olds. 5 furlongs here, Barry. Go ahead and fire up the roulette reel. Who you got in this one?
Yeah, this race was really, really tough for me. A lot of form, but not just a dart throw like you were hinting at. So I'm going to go with the 5 Blixum on top. I like that work on July 17th, 47-2 Hanley from the gate. And the prior works kind of coming into this, it seems like the horses may be improving a little bit and getting a little bit better in the morning. I see that Kyle Frey lands here for Jeff Mullins, Captain Diesel. They hit at 33% at a decent ROI. In a race where it could be anything, I'm going to try that horse. I don't think 5-1 is what we'll get. I think it's going to be closer to maybe 3-1. But I'll take that in this race. This is a tough race. Any one of these horses can jump up and win. But I thought Blixum might be a little bit off the radar, but not too much.
5, 7, and 3 for Barry. We agree on 2 of the top horses here. I'll put your third horse on top here in Brockster for Luis Mendez. It's mostly just how this horse has been working, gate works, all that kind of stuff at Santa Anita Park. First time turfers for Mendez too. Small sample size, but 23%. And I just think if he's going to win one of these races with a first timer, which he doesn't do terribly often, he'll do it here with Edwin Maldonado. And so I do think that this one's got a high level chance in here. So I'll take Brockster on top. I went to the 7 horse like you did, second here in High Ambition. Jose D'Angelo, second timer last time. A scene at Gulfstream Park will make a second start here. I thought was okay, kind of wandered about the track last time. And so I think just a second time out there, frankly, a quick kind of turnaround here too for a 2-year-old, but that is something that Jose D'Angelo does really well as well. Emisile Jaramillo gets the mount. What did you like about this one?
Yeah, I think the post position and having that one race under his belt is really a big factor here, where they could actually stalk. It's because they have some experience. They might be able to kind of not run off and go for the lead and set a little bit, because they know what they're doing a little bit, especially with a horse like the 3 Brockster with those super fast works. There's a possibility that the pace is going to be really hot here. And a horse like High Ambition that gets a trip from the outside might be the one. So I thought that one stands a good chance, but they're probably going to be bet as co-choice with Brockster. I think those 2 will be hovering around 2-1, 9-5-ish.
5, 7, and 3 for Barry. I will put a 1 in the final spot here. Jeff Mullins, first timer here. Cosmic Charlie, Julien Leparoux, looking for his second win since moving his tack to Del Mar. A tough start for him, 1 for 24. But frankly, Barry, what Emisile Jaramillo did at Santa Anita is not usually what happens when guys have to jump circuits. It's usually this. It's usually 1 for 24, 4 seconds, 4 thirds, that kind of thing. This is usually what happens. But eventually, guys either figure out the course and what works, or they start to get better mounts. And I think that this might be exactly one of those. This horse has been working okay, but Jeff Mullins starters, man, you expect that they're going to show up. 25% in sprints, 21% on the turf. He's hitting at 25% overall for the year, Barry. He's having just a spectacular year again, is Jeff Mullins. And so 3, 7, and 1 for me in this spot. Race 3, a 2-year-old maiden race there at Del Mar on a Saturday. Race 4 up next for us. Again, Amwager and Amwager.com. Go check them out for a $50 deposit match, for new customers over there at Amwager.com, live for all the tracks in California and for all of our friends listening in California as well. $30,000 on the line of race 4 here. Barry State bred maidens, 2-year-olds here, 20,000 claimer, going 5 furlongs on the dirt. A quick one there at Del Mar. I'll go first in an even numbered race. Big field in here of 10. So I went to the 7. Unfortunately, the chalky play of the day for me, coming out of 50 level at Los Al, drops into the 20 under Edwin Maldonado, which is an interesting shift back from Kyle Frey, who I don't think is, he's riding a horse for Felix Rodin in this race. So he was available, but they're going back to Edwin Maldonado for this one. It's a term you use a lot, Barry. Laying over the field. I think this one lays over the field. And I think that's just a simple way to say that this horse is a lot better. If he runs at all, I think he wins here in this kind of group. Son of Grayson. We've seen the Graysons run very well in California Company. I don't know that I would claim this one for 20 grand, Barry, but I do think that there's an opportunity that somebody might. And so I think the Son of Grayson and Keeps Me Sane wins it here. Barry, I know you agree with me. What do you like about Keeps Me Sane?
Yeah, the same sort of thing. I think this horse lays over this field, like you already predicted, I would say. That last race was just too quick for these horses. I wanted to give the 8 Romanticon a shot.
Yep.
That first run, they really didn't get a good trip. We're kind of wide. And some improving works out of that win, out of that race. And I think they definitely stand to improve in this race, but I don't know. They just hook a really tough foe and Keeps Me Sane, and I just ended up putting him second.
Jose Valenzuela gets the mount there, his first mount since 2024.
I was going to say, it's been a while, yeah.
Full-time riding was 2016, so 10 years since he was a full-time rider. He will be aboard the 8 in this race and nothing else on this card. Pretty remarkable to say there, but 7, 8, and 4 for Barry. I went 7, 10. And 8. So I agree with him on the 8, despite the jock and all that. Another first timer here for Van Belvoir, who is pretty good with first timers and not a huge sample size, but pretty good on debut in maiden claiming ranks. This horse has been working out of its mind, and the last work at Los Al was excellent out of the gate. Edgar Payeras gets the mount here, Barry. You know what I feel about that. And all we got to do is go 5 furlongs. That outside post should be just fine. How about this? Van Belvoir hitting at 14% with 2-year-old. Not a bad number there as well. So I'm going to put that one second. Barry, this feels like a cold exacta kind of situation for me going 7-10 in this one. I imagine 7-8, a cold exacta for you. The 4 horse, the only one in our personal handicapping that we haven't talked about is Simple Majority. Up the track last time, but did hit the board running 3rd at Los Al. You think can improve here, huh?
Yeah, those races weren't too bad, but really improved once they dropped in that maiden 30. They got a runaway winner that day, and they really didn't get a good start and just didn't get a chance to run. And I think they're better than that 30 buyer speed figure that they got on July 4th. And again, not much in here besides Keeps Me Sane, but I think this one might have a little bit of run.
Move on to the close of the early pick 5, of course, is race 5, a spot before the pick 6. So if pick 3 does start in here, and it's the first of the 2 stakes on the card, the state bred, the California Dreamin', mile and a 16th on the turf, $150,000 on the line in this one. Technically a black type here, Barry. I think you could make a case for a lot of the different horses in here of all 7, frankly. Probably I would listen to cases for 6 of them. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, that's about right.
All right, maybe 5. I don't know if going negative, but
no. I think the only one that would have a tough time might be the 4, but even that one I could make a case for.
I think you can make the case because just been running at Saratoga, very good maiden company, and you think that this one be good enough to come on in and do the thing. So yes, I'm largely with you there. Who'd you land on with the California Dream?
I went to my old buddy Prince Dolce, who owes me money.
I agree. With you.
This horse owes me money from back on
Crystal Waters.
Yes.
I remember.
Not only that, but in March 7th, that was the one, because we had the big double with British Isles, and then I put a big win bet on Prince Dolce, and the horse got lost for 90% of that race and just missed.
Oh my God, I remember that moment. Holy hell!
Came out of that race. Came out of that race and it has been running lights out. I mean, actually the race before that, this horse is really found his niche, and I think this is going to continue, especially in this race. It didn't come up as strong as I think they might have thought it was going to be.
Sure.
And they have a really, really good shot. I know there's not a whole hell of a lot of pace in here. Mr. Disrespectful should be out there kind of winging it, but I expect Prince Dolce to be right behind him. And Santa Barbara should be up there too. So you can see this horse handled Santa Barbara a couple races back. I think they're in a good spot. If we can get 4-1, that would be excellent here. But I don't know. It might end up, that horse might end up being favored because of the fact that Old Pal, who is definitely the class of this race, hasn't run in a while and is a closer, just a dead closer. But he might be faster than these horses, but I'm willing to take a shot with Prince Dolce. So maybe we might get that 4-1.
3, 5, 7 for Barry. I went 5, 3, and 6 for many of the reasons that you talked about with Old Pal. I do think he's the class here. Almost wins the Seabiscuit handicap behind Call Sign 7 and ahead of El Potente, or right behind El Potente. Astronomer was in that field, etc. Just a really, really good field. Before that, lost an optional claimer to British Isles, who came back and won in the Grade 1, of course, but did win the Turf Classic before that. You're not wrong. This horse does have to fly from out of the clouds, usually to win. I would suggest to Juan Hernandez to keep this one probably a little bit closer this time, certainly on debut for 2026, to not have to make up too much ground in the stretch there at Del Mar. But 5 and 3 for me. Largely agree with what you had to say about Prince Dolce. I'll go to the 6-horse third for Mr. Disrespectful. I was stunned to see this horse as the second favorite, Barry, 3-1. Just that, given that how much this horse has done great work on the dirt, 16 runs on dry dirt at least, and 12 of those are in the money with 5 wins. This horse on the turf is 2 for 4, so it's not as though nothing works out for this horse or anything like that. But last time at the Turf Classic there, the Calbred race at Santa Anita was nowhere to be found. And I mean nowhere to be found. DFL, in fact, and then came back at Santa Anita on the dirt over a mile, couldn't do anything, sprinted twice, but gets back to the distance here that this horse won at in the California Dream and in this stakes race last year. So I'm hopeful that we'll get back to that sort of thing. I love back in the California Dreaming, which this horse ran 5th in, but much better last year. Get back to some of that form with Armando Ayuso. You went a different way with the third horse here in the 7th, which will be On the Whim, Thiago Pereira for Dean Peterson.
Yeah, I mean, at least this horse has run pretty decent at this sort of level kind of all year and finishing well, but just not winning. This horse actually could easily win this race given the right trip. But I'm going to bet against they're going to get the right trip and they can finish in the money, but I'm not too keen on them and winning this race. Mr. Disrespectful is a real question mark because this horse was running good prior to those starts in January and then June. But if you can get past those races, this horse is actually running very, very well. But I just don't like the inconsistency. And then this horse really didn't run all that well at this level, in this class level, and in a small stake as they did outside of that company. So I kind of downgraded his chances, but I really think Prince Dolce, it's his race to win or lose.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Close the early pick 5, of course, race 5, the easy for me to say, the California Dreamin'. There you go on the turf. Mile and a 16th. If you are unfamiliar with the layout there at Del Mar, that is the inside little chute that they use for the mile and 16th races. So sometimes they end up playing a little bit more like mile and an 8th races. The aforementioned pick 6 does start here. Barry, how often do you play the $2 pick 6 at Del
Mar? Actually, a lot more than you would think, because of the fact that, I get some strong opinions and I'll single 3 horses.
Right. Yep.
And if I'm right, then I'll probably hit. And it happens a lot more than you would think, especially with sometimes the chalk. You get some lopsided races late in the card and you can zero in on a couple of those horses and have a pretty decent shot with a smaller-ish ticket. And kind of be in there. It's a really great bet because it's $2, but it's very, very difficult.
Of course, race 6 starts the pick 6 there tomorrow at Del Mar. SoCal Saturdays, Barry Spears and Lou Urbo hanging out with you. 12-5 claimer non-2 lifers awaits us in race 6. $28,000 on the line. We're going one time around the dirt track there at Del Mar. 3, 7, and 4 for me in this one. Went to Sunset Ride. Ricardo Gonzalez is riding for Phil D'Amato. This one broke its maiden last time at Los Al going this distance. First time stretching out. Obviously worked for this son of Clubhouse Ride. Stays in very similar company here, Barry, and I think can absolutely get it done. What I loved about last time was The horse acted like a sprinter, but had the time to stay and go ahead and do its best running at the very end of the race. And frankly, had to battle it out at the end. It wasn't a terribly fast race, but oftentimes at Los Al, we see those races that aren't very fast. And so hopefully getting to Del Mar, this one will be able to keep pace, and I won't look like too much of an idiot at the finish line, even though you've got that one in your top 3 as well. The 7-horse Trojan Mafia. Jeff Mullins. Listen, folks, we're just deep into Jeff Mullins needing to have a good weekend for me. So the 7-horse here is Jeff Mullins trained, and Tiago Pereira piloted Trojan Mafia. Did break its maiden as well at Santa Anita Park at this level last time. Son of Smiling Tiger, I think makes a lot of sense in here. You ready for this stat from Jeff Mullins? Anybody ready?
Uh-oh.
You ready over there? All right, what you got there, dog? Anything? 40% last time out winners. One last time, wins again at 40%. That's a ridiculous stat. Give me the 7, second of my handicapping here. And then I went to the 4. Barry, I'm going to let you talk about a couple here because we have so much in common that way. But you got the 6 on top here in Forza Azzurri, which is a reference, of course, to a soccer team in Milan, Italy. This horse hasn't won in a while. Barry, what do you like about it?
I think getting to dirt is a good thing. This horse was running at a way higher level than these horses have been running at. And albeit over at Gulfstream, which I think are stronger races. They didn't run a step last time, was out wide. They're in the 8 of 9 and just didn't get into it. And I think the turf was the problem. And also the post position. So barring those 2 things, I really can forgive that race. Getting the dirt makes a lot of sense. This horse has been training at Del Mar, has 2 works over the track. Peter Miller does okay with this move, turf to dirt, gets Joel Rosario. And I think this horse is going to wake up and there'll be a decent price. 4-1 is probably the lowest I'll take on this horse, but I think they're going to be in contention the whole way and get a really good trip here because this race on paper looks like it'll play pretty fair with enough speed to run it. And I think Forza Azzurri can do that. Please.
Someone I think does make a lot of sense in here is D-Day Sky. You've got the 4-horse third in your handicapping here, Barry. Antonio Fraser, who rides for Peter Urton. And a reminder that Peter Urton, man, his horses are a little bit of everywhere. He hasn't won at Del Mar yet this meet, which is an incredible thing to say about Peter Urton at the end, beginning of August, frankly. But this one was at Fairgrounds and at Indiana Grand, Horseshoe Indianapolis this year. Makes the trip west for this one. I think fits very well in this company.
Yeah, I'm just assuming that the races out of town are tougher than these. And that's where I landed on this horse. This horse was running okay. Just really couldn't get over the top. Maybe there's 1 or 2 horses that were just a little bit better. Does have trouble finishing races. You see they have 5 thirds in 19 starts, and that's the biggest number. So I'm not too keen on his chances to win, but I think they'll show up in the picture somewhere.
6, 3, and 4 for Barry in race 6. I will go 3, 7, and 4 in race 6 there, Del Mar, tomorrow. This is SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour Podcast Network. Louis Boat and Barry Spears hanging out with you. Race 7 is another maiden. It's a maiden 50 with a $40,000 purse. Fillies and mares 3 and up in this one. We're going a mile on the turf. And yes, you do have to start behind the start line at Del Mar to make that happen. Barry, odd numbered race. You are an odd man, and you landed in race 7 on the number 2 horse here. What do you like about Princess's Phoebe? Not princess, Princess's Phoebe. It's important.
Yeah, which is kind of a funny name because this horse has, I think it's like 6 full siblings. All of them were turf runners, and all of them are pretty decent. Okay. It looks like I don't understand why they started this horse over at Belterra, but the horse didn't run all that poorly that day, and they ship out here and catch a field that's really, really odd, and probably a field they can beat. And that's really where I stand with it, is that they'll have a really good chance to win this race. Second time out is obviously always better than first. Peter Urton does pretty well second time out. I think this horse might be live. I hope we get the 6-1, but you never know.
2, 3, and 1 for Barry. You said something that I agree with incredibly about this race. it's odd. It's an odd race. And I don't have another word for it. I think odd is totally right. I went to very different spots for this race. So essentially what I'm banking on is that one of these sprinters is going to turn into a router in this race. So the 9 horse in here, I think Grays Over Bays, a spun to run into Mischief on the dam side. Look, we've seen the Into Mischiefs be very fast and all the thing, but also we've seen plenty of distance with those horses as well. So I think that this one could be bred to actually go a little bit further. And if you look at the running lines for this one over 6.5 on the turf, it's mostly hanging out at 4 furlongs and then getting to 2, 2.5, 3 by the end of the race. And that's what happens. If these are just staying type horses, give me double-digit odds then on a Sean McCarthy trainee. How about that? Who wins at 17% everywhere? Do that. You know what? If we're going to be in a race with this kind of horses and I have no idea what the bleep's going on, I may as well get 12-1. So give me the 9 horse in here to just stay. Just hang out and just outlast everybody in this one. Same thing for Tana Kitty. This is a Peter Urton trainee. You and I are leaning on this guy. Emisile Jaramillo picks up this mount. Here's why I'm interested in this one. A couple of reasons. Second starters for Peter Urton, very good. He wins at 20%. Sprint to route, 10% not is great, but he does go dirt to turf at 13%. I think there's a world in which this horse just needs to get over to the turf, needs to go long, and just figures it out. And Barry, you and I talked about it a lot during the meet, and we'll talk about it now. The dirt course at Los Al plays well for turf runners, right? It just does. Seems to work for all kinds of runners, frankly. If that horse can run well at Los Al, maybe it can run well then on the dirt here. I was stunned to see 6-1. The horse should be, I think, more than that, like for sure. The works are stupid fast. And you and I have talked a lot about on this show, and maybe it's just something I say, but these mile on the turf races out west are the ultimate melange of like sprinters and distance horses trying to speed up, but sprinters trying to last a little bit long. Like, right? I mean, it's like this in between weird sort of thing, especially at Del Mar, where you got to be close. If you're going to make a move there in the stretch, I think Tona Kitty can do that kind of thing as well. On a Saturday, I know I'm way off the board here, but I'll go to the 3 horse last in Zariah. Because this one makes a ton of sense. But this is one that I think of as a sprinter that's trying to make it last, Mary. So like, I'd rather have the first 2, the 9 and the 5 here, trying to figure it out at the distance rather than the 3 horse here. But 9, 5, and 3 for me. You've got the 3 second in your handicapping. Can Zariah last long enough to win it a mile?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, just the fact that you see how big of an improvement this horse made that last time when they switched class levels. I think that sort of did the trick. I just think they're going to get overbet based on the connections. And, there might be some other speed. And this is really going to pour a little cold water on your pick, the 5. But I just think Tona Kitty is just way out of their element here. And I think they're going to try to force the issue to quicken this pace up.
Okay.
Tonalist is such a strange sire because it's really like his career. You didn't really know what he did well other than win at Belmont. And his progeny is kind of the same way. You see a lot of fast works, but I don't know. I mean, but I couldn't not give that horse a shot almost because of the fact that this race is so strange to me. But Zariah seems to be kind of consistent, at least getting to the front. And I think that might be a good thing, like you were hinting at before.
2, 3, and 1 for you means the rail horse in Silky Save. Part of your handicapping hasn't run since May, but has been competitive in maiden specials, drops into maiden claiming for the first time. I'm sure it's a class drop you like here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really it. I think this horse was just over their head, and weren't running totally poor races. Just didn't get some good trips at the 6.5 on the flat. I was wondering if they were going to try to show up 6.5 down the hill at Santa Anita, but they're going to try this spot obviously because they
don't actually run races on that hill. You've been there, so you know.
Yeah, no hill.
No hill.
Yeah, that's a myth. I've never seen it. But I think this horse is good enough, especially getting Juan Hernandez. I think he's good at keeping horses like this together. And they should be all right. And, kind of went the inside route here.
Barry and I very different in this one. 2, 3, and 1 for Barry in race 7. I will go 9, 5, and 3 in race 7. Late pick 4 starts here in race 8. An optional claimer on the dirt, 6.5 furlongs here, $81,000 on the line, 3 and up, non-twos essentially in here, Barry. We see the return of Sansaba, who was a winner as a 3-year-old in January last year at Santa Anita Park for Bob Baffert, a son of Justify. We were starting to wonder, could there be another Justify on the Derby Trail here? And then we haven't seen him since. He reappears here, and Juan Hernandez will pick up the mount in this spot. Barry, even number race means Louis goes first. I'll go to the 5-horse here, not in your handicapping at all. You and I are very different today. This is a good show. Back-to-back races, Barry, and this is where I'm going to play a double, is races 7 and 8. I'm going to try the 5 and the 9, and I'm going to try the 5 here alongside the 10 as longer shots, where I think if I can hit this double, it's going to pay stacks. September 64 for Mike Pipey and Kazushi Kimura. We haven't seen this one since May, where the horse ran a really good third in an optional claimer going 6 furlongs on the turf. We're going to try dirt for the first time. And his turf to dirt numbers are very good. His time off numbers are very good. His sprint numbers are very good. The two of them together, good enough for me to put this one on top. And this is at Omaha Beach, so I'm going to trust that this one can, in fact, run on the dirt. I get it. The dam side is very, very turfy, and this horse has run very well on the turf, but I think there's a very legitimate reason they're moving to the dirt. The works on the dirt make sense for this kind of spot as well, Barry. So I'm going to go ahead and try the double-digit odds here in this spot. I also am going to try Santa Reina. And this is a Julien Leparoux, Mark Glatt combination. You know what this is. It's not Jeff Mullins. It's pretty close. All right. Right. Yeah. So Mark Glatt, trainee. This one came off the bench in June after running in April for the first time in over a year. Came back, as Barry would say, came back running and improved last time as well. I think we'll get even better here at Del Mar, where the horse does have a 3rd place finish in July of 2024. That was in the maiden special ranks. But I do think this horse can absolutely be part of it. And guess who the sire is? Omaha Beach. So there you go. Pair of Omaha Beaches on top for me in this one. I will go 5 and 10, Barry. I know you got that 10 third in your handicapping. What do we like about the 8 here? Decisive Win. You and I very much going with longer odds in this race.
Yeah, I like this horse, Decisive Win, quite a bit here. This horse is running with really excellent company. You'll see first time out, they got beat by Crude Velocity, Civil Liberty, and then a horse that's in this race, Duke Silver. That was first time out. They came out of that with a small layoff and was odds on and won pretty easily over at Santa Anita. Then they put this horse going longer in the Affirmed over at Santa Anita and ran a really good race that day. But you could tell this horse was just trying to figure out what was going on, because they stopped running, started again, and the horse kind of kept on. But I like the fight in this horse, and the cutback seems to make a ton of sense here. This horse stands to get probably the best trip out of anybody, and if they get it, I think they'll win. And I think we will get somewhere around that 8-1, maybe down to 6-1, because of the O'Neill barn is doing so well right now. But this race on paper, there's a lot of horses that do have a shot, especially with the Baffert horse. Send Saba on the inside. That horse is going to take some money. They lost to Madikit Road first time out, and probably, you know, won't deserve favoritism, but I think they're going to be around it. I think a lot of these horses are going to be around the same price. Hopefully Decisive Win will be a little bit above those, and we'll take the prize. The 2-horse Duke Silver, who I just mentioned, beat Decisive Win first time out.
By the way, this is how I know you hang out with me too much. You're taking a horse coming out of a maiden win. This is such a Louis angle. It's freaking painful, but go ahead.
Yeah. And then lost to Mo Coco and Reckoning, who are decent horses. Came out of that, came back running after a short layoff. And I think they're a lot better than their record, honestly. They just didn't get good trips in those other races, and it showed, and they ended up losing. But I think this horse is a lot better than what they look like on paper, because honestly, if you look at Sen Saba and Duke Silver, they're pretty similar, except for the fact that one ran a 79 and one ran an 80. The 80 looks better on paper, but they really ran the same kind of race. And I think that psychological thing will make a difference, especially with the Baffert horse, where people gravitate to that one. Duke Silver's price will probably go up based on that.
8, 2, and 10 for Barry here in race 8. I will try 5, 10, and 4 there at Del Mar tomorrow. This is SoCal Saturdays of the Horse Racing Happy Hour Podcast Network. Hanging out with you is Barry Spears, and my name is Louis Rabeau. Check out our friends at AmWager and AmWager.com. Late Pick 3 starts here. That is a $3 Late Pick 3 as well. Optional claimer. We see a lot of these at the $20,000 level. State breds here, 5 furlongs on the turf. Barry, we go $81,000 in this one. And odd numbered race means you're an odd fellow and you go first. You are so this is back-to-back races where I am
odd pick here
Barry.
too.
This is Barry being rubbed off by me. He threw an AE into his handicapping. That is a Louis Rabeau move. That is what that is. Yes, you did.
Yes, I did. I'll talk about that one first. I'll talk about that one first.
I have the 12 on top. Go ahead. Let's talk about the 12.
Yeah. If Jetter Vader gets in, Jetter Vader wins. I'll just say it flat out.
Okay.
If that horse gets in this race, that horse will win. And it's still an if. However, if this horse doesn't get in, I do like the 7 quite a bit here.
Okay.
Kerry Gold. If you look at this horse's turf efforts, they're really not that bad. Albeit they were going longer.
Sure.
And against tougher company. Then you fast forward, they had 1, 2, 3, 4 turf races in a row against tougher company. Then they sort of drop into this company at a mile and come running late. Laid off in in November, come back July 17th and run a stinker on the dirt. And I think the cutback is key here because there's a ton of speed in this race, and this horse will be flying late. I think they stand to get a really, really, really good shot at this one at a big price from a barn that's not, a barn that's kind of flying under the radar. And I forgot to mention that in that turf race, they ran up the last one, October 10th, 2025. They ran up against Vodka, who was razor sharp at that time. And I think that race is very, very good and should play well in this race because of the fact they're going to get a setup. So that being said, I'll take that 15-1. It'd probably go up, but I'm still going to land on this horse.
Oh, Barry, I think you're going to get 25-1 or something. I think the number is going to be absolutely.
If Jetter Vader is not in, it's Kerry Gold. We're pushing all the chips in.
Okay. I want to point out to people, this is my life hanging out with Barry Spear. Barry, Dan Ascarate has 0 wins this year. 20 starters, 0 wins. He has 0 seconds this year. 20 starters, $35,000 in earnings. I love you. This is so great. Barry, can you name his only?
I gotta throw one downfield, man.
Can you name his only graded stakes winner? The answer is no, you can't, because he doesn't have one. I love it. All right, so this is Barry Spears. No one can. That's exactly right. But I want to say this. I'm going to put it out there. If this horse wins this weekend, we're having Dan Ascarate on the program next week. That's it. We're just doing it. The guy's coming on.
Okay.
We're going to celebrate the first win of the year. We're doing it. You understand me?
I'm
going to figure out how to get a hold of this guy.
Let's go.
Write it down.
The freight train.
Because now I got to bet on this stupid horse. All right, so Kerry Gold will break from the 7 there for Barry in race 9 tomorrow. I went 12 on top here. Then I went to the 8 in Gray's Boy. I know you have the 8 second in your handicapping if the 12 doesn't run as well. Kazushi Kimura gets the mount on this one after Armando had it in the spring. Winner on debut at the 50 level. Moved into the optional 50 level and did not show its buttocks on the first time against winners. So Gray's Boy, I think, very much set up to be very good in this spot. All the percentages, all the different things make sense as well. 5 horse in here is seen by me, Barry. And this is one that's just a consistent runner and is always near the front of the pack. Whether the horse finishes the race or not is the real question here. But Mark Klatt trades this one, giving it a little bit of time off. Kind of a busy 3-ish months or so between the very end of February, the end of May there. In the spring at Santa Anita Park, gets a little bit of time off this summer, and the works have been really good. And they've been at Del Mar, so this horse will have a little bit of home field advantage. So I'll go 12, 8, 5, and 3 in here, Barry. You went 7, 12, 8, and 5 as well. A lot of the same opinions here, but you already made the case for Kerry Gold. I don't think you need to talk anymore about this race. How about that?
All right, drop the mic, Holmes.
Right. What's up, Danny Ascarate? What you got? Nothing. Hey, you got nothing. All right.
That's my man. Tomorrow, that's gonna be my man 50 grand. If the 7 wins,
I have Gloria, you have Danny. No, that's exactly right. I have Gloria, you have Danny. We'll work it out. But Clement Hirsch is race 10 on the card. It is the feature, and it is a grade 1. Last year's winner is in here. Her name, of course, is Seismic Beauty. She is 5-2, but there are others in here whose names you have heard before. Like many of the races out west, we get some shippers in from out of town. And Barry, this is where I think you can get a little bit creative, because I think there's a world in which, for example, you and I, you mentioned Big Cap Day and British Isles winning. Who was Brad's horse in that race?
Do you remember? I don't recall.
Okay, because now I think he has switched. I think he's switched to turf since then. Okay, and that makes sense. All right, Santa Anita. Why am I forgetting this? Santa Anita Handicap, 2026. Let's see if I can find the name of this freaking horse. I think he ran last. Sorry, Just a Touch. Okay, who has since moved to the has since moved to the turf. Okay, so that race was so bad that they needed to move him to the turf to justify. Sorry, terrible joke there. But to have a reason to continue running. And the horse since then, by the way, has won. And they even tried the United Nations there at Monmouth. I mean, they thought enough of him to move him into that company, okay? But he goes out for the Santa Anita Handicap, runs 4th. And then they ship him, does Brad Cox, to Monmouth, and he runs 7th in the United Nations. Ooh. So I think there's a world in which Chasen is one of those horses. And you look at her and you think, okay, this is Brad Cox shipping for a graded stakes as far from Kentucky as possible, as far from New York as possible. Barry Spears does not feel that way, has Chasen on top. Talk us through Chasen.
Chasen gets the trip.
Okay.
Gets the trip.
Okay. Got it.
If you look at this horse's last 3 races, the one at Colonial got the trip, won. La Troyenne did not get the trip, lost. The Shred de Nar is as sharp as any horse in the country right now. And how that horse wins on the lead. So Chasen really didn't have a shot in that race. Fast forward to the Delaware race, they handled that field with ease. And that was a great prep for this one. They draw well, because I like the way this draw ended up for Chasen, because they're going to be basically in the catbird seat or in the garden spot if you're a harness player, pretty much the whole way. And that's where I think they need to be. The other horses that they ran against, Liam in the Dust is a nice horse. Ran into Shred de Nar twice, and Simply Joking once, which was in the slop. And I don't think this horse handled that track that day, and didn't handle it again at Churchill when they ran against Liam in the Dust either. So I'm willing to forgive that. And if you take those races out, this horse might in fact lay over this field, because Seismic Beauty is just too inconsistent and untrustworthy, and an outside post. It just doesn't spell a good deal for that one.
I went to the 5 horse on top. This is a horse you have in your handicapping, but not near the top. And this is Majestic Oops for Phil D'Amato. Horse was previously in the Dan Ward barn, last seen here across the street, frankly, at the end of May at Churchill in the Shawnee. And Splendora Immersive were in that race. And let me be very clear about this field, Barry. There is no Splendora and there is no Immersive. Okay. There are horses like that, not in this field. Okay. I think if she runs that Shawnee again, I think she's got a real shot to win this one. And that's essentially what I'm banking on, is that she's going to run a race where she's in 3rd or 4th, and she just kind of outlasts everybody by the time they get to the end. But it's Joel Rosario, and I don't know what I'm going to get. And that's,
it's always a question. Unfortunately,
I don't, this is as uncomfortable as I've been with a grade 1 on the dirt this year, is this race. I legitimately, I did not know how to make a case for many of these horses. So I'm just going to put Majestic Oops, who, by the way, has 5 wins in her last 16 races the last 2 years. Shout out, by the way, as a 5-year-old, she ran 11 times. That's awesome. So like that part, great.
That's
has won listed stakes. She's won all over the place. She's been competitive in graded stakes, but never quite gotten there outside of the Azeri in the slop at Oaklawn. But a bunch of listed wins and that kind of stuff. I thought her Shawnee was so good. 5th start this year, hasn't been off the board this year. 2 wins, 2/3. in that kind of company. I just think she's been keeping class all the time. And on the show, we talk about class going class. Speaking of, Almond Joy, man, we're done thinking of her as a Calbred, right? She's just great, right? She's just good, right?
She's a really good horse, yeah.
She's a really good horse, right? Okay, cool. All right, so Ken Desormeaux is going to wake up. Do you think they keep him in like a hyperbaric chamber, and they just like open?
They have to, right?
They open it. It's like Ken,
like the Undertaker.
Yeah, exactly. He emerges, and they're like,
we need you to ride Almond Joy and nothing else this weekend.
He's like, yeah, okay, all right. But I want back in
for the older people out there, for the elders out there. It reminds me of the scene in Better Off Dead with John Cusack when he worked in the burger joint and he made the burger come alive. The Frankenstein thing. Yeah.
They hit Aggie's like walking around. He's like, hey,
they hit Kent D with some lightning to get him up.
Like, hey, should we get Tiago? Should we get Armando? Like, who should we? And they're like,
open up the chamber. Kent's ready. Go get him. It's time to get Kent.
Or that movie Unleashed. Remember that? Jet Li Unleashed. They just take.
I think Almond Joy can win here, and I think she's got a legitimately really serious shot, Barry. And that would be too great at stakes for this one.
You might be the only person, but that's okay.
The grade 2 Santa Margarita. Obviously, I was the only one who thought she could win in that company too, because you have Simply Joking and Seismic Beauty ahead of her, and both of those horses didn't hold a candle to her in that race. You went 185. You just made fun of the 8 horse here at Seismic Beauty and her inconsistency. But is this just more of a cover your ass kind of play?
No, she's fast. I mean, there's no.
She can be.
There's no doubt about that. She's going to get to the lead, and I just don't think she can win. She has a tough time winning. That's my assessment. But she's going to be out there, and she really only has one horse to get in front of, and that's Bank Shot. And I don't think that's going to be a problem. Maybe Simply Joking, but I don't think Simply Joking has her quickness. So I think Seismic Beauty can hang around, but we'll see. I mean, I'm not going to want her at a short price, which she's going to be. I would think she's going to be around 8-5 here, and chasing around that 4-1. I would definitely take chasing every time.
Eunomia breaks on the outside for St. Elias, and this is a Safi trainee. Needed some time off after the Ruffian. Second by a neck in the double dog dare. Did win the Sandy Bottom over the one turn there at Colonial. How much of a chance do you give her here? I think she's really interesting, actually.
I gave up on her when she didn't win the double dog dare. She had every chance to win that race and just didn't. And no, thank you.
Okay, there you go. All right, we'll
not with this company.
I'll move on to the closer here on the card there at Del Mar tomorrow. Race 11 is a maiden 50, $40,000 on the line. We're going a mile and a 16th on the turf here, Barry. 3 and up in this field. A perfect closer for this card. A full field of 12 with a 13th on the AE list. You're going to go outside-ish to the 10 horse here, which is Timmy. I want everyone to know that Barry and I have a very special man named Tim in our lives. Very special man.
Oh man, we love Tim.
Up at Horseshoe Indianapolis. Big shout out from him this year. Tim's getting used to us up there.
He sure is.
Who was your bro at the greatest photo of the history of horse racing at Keeneland? Was that Ron? Was that the guy's name?
Yes, that was Ron. Yes.
Okay, so we got Tim and Ron.
Usher. Yeah.
I think we're more Team Ron, but yeah, I think definitely. Tim. We watched Tim learn things we
earned Tim's respect.
I think we watched Tim learn a lesson in real time in front of us. And Barry, I don't get to do that very often because I'm an older person. I don't get to watch people learn things all the time that aren't my children, for example. It was nice to watch Tim learn something right in front of us. You went to the 10 horse here in Tim.
Well, I'll say this. If you have any money left in your pocket at the last race at Del Mar, you will want to throw it on number 10, Timmy, because that horse is going to win. If you take a look at that Churchill race, this horse got stopped twice and still ran on and ran sort of a winning race. The horses that came out of that race, I think one of them that finished behind Timmy ended up winning. Go for Rocket ended up winning out of that race in an allowance race. So it's a really live race, and they're getting Juan Hernandez. I doubt we get 7-2. I would say on the 2-1 end, but take it and go home.
Maiden 75 for that one last time at Churchill, as Barry mentions, 10-9-2 for him. We'll swap spots. I'll go inside in this race. I'll use Fausto on top here for Bob Hess. Armando Ayuso gets the mount here, and that is a guy who really needs it to get going. Was aboard this one last time, Barry, and I think 1 1/8 was just a little bit too much, but frankly, Divisible By is a nice horse too. Was at this level twice on the turf, has finished twice second at this level, so I'll go ahead and lean into that one. Very similar kind of argument for the 2-horse here in Lorenzo Bernini in the $50,000 level for the second time. 1 1/8 on the turf last time, right behind Fausto. I'm hoping they run back to that form. This was the horse that had the lead in that race, Barry, and if this one can get the lead, seems like at Del Mar, that's a better spot to be than at Santa Anita, almost for sure. And then I went to the 6-horse in here. That will be Heavenly Match, another longer. There's our girl, Gloria Haley. What's up, Gloria? Hector Barrios gets them out here. This is one coming out of the Valenzuela barn, first time with Gloria Haley. What I like here is that we are getting back to what this horse tried last time, was in that Fausto race, hoping that trying something for the second time here will actually be a bit helpful. Tried Turfway, by the way, over a mile before, and wasn't too bad under Danny Sheehy. I think not likely of a winner here, but I think one that can absolutely hit the board, spice up your ticket. So the 6-horse for me in the 3rd spot. In the closer, you went to the 9 in your 2nd spot here in this one. That is Plettenberg Bay. I'll look up where Plettenberg Bay is while you tell us that Joel Rosario can win this race.
Yeah, I mean, Sadler does really good with these types, especially second time out. And I think this horse just didn't get a good start, and it put the horse behind the 8 ball. Ran pretty good, and I think there's just a lot of upside with that horse, especially stretching out. It seems like that's what this horse wants to do. I mean, the workout pattern, the long 5 furlong works up to this point. I think this horse is stand a better chance going long, so I put that one in there behind Tim A.
The Plettenberg Bay is in West Cape, South Africa. How about that?
Oh, wow.
Western Cape. So there you go. All right, a little spot in South Africa. Are you a fan of the geography names for horses, Barry? Like Sierra Leone and that kind of stuff? Because I actually kind of like those.
It's all right. Yeah.
No,
that's not, especially when it's just one word. It's not like, like Monaco or Switzerland.
Monaco.
Yeah,
Monaco's a good
Switzerland's a good horse.
Bro. Monaco's a good ass name though, dude. That's a good job. What if there was a horse named Monte Carlo?
That's our first horse.
All right.
Oh yeah.
So Monaco's what, a
makes
quarter
me
horse
think
in
of
Indiana or
Larry
something
Coon.
for us because we can pay $3,000 for it? Is that what it is?
Yeah, or Grand National. We can name a Grand National Monte Carlo.
Pay $1.
A lot of horsepower. You see what I'm saying? See, we're joking over here. Dad jokes.
A lot of horsepower. Shame on you. That's terrible. I mean,
American Detroit muscle. I mean, come on. We're just tying all this in.
I apologize to everyone who's listening to this show still. That Barry made that joke. I apologize very deeply. I also apologize to Amwager at amwager.com for how ridiculous this show has gone. Clement Hirsch tomorrow means you can bet on Amwager. Go check them out, amwager.com, and get your $50 deposit match right now for new customers over there. He's Barry. I'm Louie. We'll be back same time next week. Very similar program, unfortunately, for you, but we'll try and do a little bit better. Good luck with those wagers this weekend. Thanks from all of us here at the Horse Racing App.